Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel. It is Tuesday. What happened to Monday? Well, it was a holiday here in the United States. It was Memorial Day, and I just sort of took the day off. I mean, I worked around the house on things. Namely, my new speakers. Believe it or not, these are going to be speakers. These half-inch thin sheets of end grain balsa wood. Very light, very, I don't want to say delicate, but, you know, don't manhandle these things. They will break. I got 2 sheets of these. They finally showed up on Saturday. And, ta-da, aren't they beauties? Now, the whole idea behind these things is to use what is called an exciter. And an exciter is a speaker that attaches to a piece of substrate, and it can be, honestly, it could be drywall. You could put these behind your drywall and make your walls into speakers. A lot of the high end would get lost because of the size and, you know, all the plaster and paint or whatever, you know, and putty and whatnot. But you could actually do that. So you take the exciter. Now, there's a formula to where these are supposed to go, and it's something like 2/3, 3/5, something like that. I'll figure it out. And so one of them will be like this, and the other one will be dead center. And I don't think I can use the adhesive on here, so I got some crazy glue gel that will actually stick these to these, and they'll, because these things, you know, weigh a fair bit, probably, I don't know, quarter pound ish, maybe a little less. But attaching these will excite this panel, and the entire panel becomes the speaker. So this all came from a video that I saw about a guy who made a whole bunch of different ones using different materials, polystyrene, you know, styrofoam, cardboard. The cardboard ones, he said, sounded surprisingly good. So if you can make a piece of cardboard sound good, you can make a piece of balsa wood sound good. He also used balsa wood, and it was one of the better ones as far as low end. So I'm going to mount these things up on my wall. Well, not on the wall, from the ceiling up top, and they'll be my my speakers for my listening for my albums and stuff once I get a record player. I've ordered a power amp, tiny little power amp, little 20-watt Class D power amp, and it's going to power these things. Yeah, fun. So that's what I was planning on doing all week, is just working on these things, making some presets, some custom presets. So that's what's up. Today's custom, well, they're all custom. Today's preset, it's called Parallel Drives. And there's been a lot of talk about running one drive into another, stacking them, so to speak. Serial drives would be a better way to say it. I'm going to show you how to get some cool sounds using parallel drives. Shall we? Alrighty, here we are over at the Helix. Let me show you what's up with this. I am using a bunch of gates today because this is a pretty heavy sound. And, well, it ends up being a heavy sound. A little bit more on the threshold. And there's a couple of gates near the end as well. So what's happening here? Now, I've set up a couple of parallel paths for the overdrives. Top overdrive is the Vermin. Very 80s sounding, very nasally, you know, very sort of early to mid 80s heavy metal sound when put in front of a pretty woolly sounding Marshall, which I have set up today, but a pretty woolly sounding Cali Texas 2. And the bottom is the Clawthorn drive. Clawthorn drive has a lot more bottom end to it. I'm not using the fuzz on it. You can throw the fuzz on too if you want, and the fuzz octave, you know, turn that off as well. But I'm just not crazy about fuzz, but if you want to add an extra dimension to it, go ahead, knock yourself out. I just didn't demo it. I'm throwing a little bit of pitch in front of one of the drives. Now the amp is, like I said, the Cali Texas 2, and it is set up to a basic sound that I would use for an overdriven sound with like a valve driver or a compulsive drive in front of it. Those are my two favorites. But I gotta tell you, this combination of these two is pretty fucking sweet. Once you get the two together by themselves, they sort of fall into whatever category of things that I'm not super crazy about. But now I've set up the outputs so that I push the expression pedal forward, I get some boost. So you press the expression forward, you get the lead on this one. It runs down into a pair of IRs, a Hiwatt 3A and a Marshall 1960 V3A, both by 3 Sigma Audio. Now there's gates, hard gates, after each one of these because there's a lot of gain happening. So I'm going to grab the guitar and I'm going to demonstrate first just the amp without any overdrives. Then I'll throw on the Vermin, then I'll throw on the Clawthorne, each individually, and then together. Cool? Let's do that. There you have it, everybody. Oh, these little grommets right here, these are the ferrules that go around Kluson tuners. Just repurposed some of these that I had lying around. Never going to use them because I can't stand Kluson tuners. I put Lockney tuners on all my guitars, and I'm going to run fishing line through these and hang them from the ceiling. So I wanted to have something that would keep the wood intact, and they look kind of cool. So there's that. I'm thinking about maybe putting some tung oil on them, but balsa is super soft, very porous. This is end grain, so you never know what you're going to get, what's going to happen when you try to put finish on end grain. It could look great, it could completely fuck them up. So I'm just going to use them like so, see how they sound, and then, this is just a fun project. These were super cheap. These panels, there were two of these panels, 2 by 24, so 24 by 24, 2 feet by 2 feet, and I cut them down to size, rounded off the edges, and took the edge off. Blah blah blah. But $38. These little exciters, $19 each, so no big whoop. And if they don't sound great, then I just won't use them. I've got my studio monitors here. I can just run my turntable into those things. This will be my listening room. I mean, it was destined to be anyway, don't you think? So, if you would like today's free set, drop me a line. Chances are I will send them all out on the weekend, all in one shot, just to save myself time and emails. Click, 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 clickety, click, click. So, but by all means, send me your, if you want these, drop me an email, and I'll, on the weekend, send them all to you. Cool. Very cool. Don't forget, you can get the latest Strat Pack Volume 3. I've sent them off to my web guy. He's going to send them out to everyone that has pre-ordered, and then put them up on the website so you can get them yourself. Good times. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Name that riff Wednesday. Fun, fun, fun. And working on speaker day. Tomorrow, I'll be wiring up the exciters, attaching the exciters with the crazy glue gel. And these things have really, really great adhesive, but balsa is a little bit tricky when it comes to an adhesive. They do recommend you use an epoxy resin. buying an epoxy resin is like $45 to get all the parts together. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna make these work this way. Otherwise, they're not gonna work. I'll get polystyrene. Who knows? So, I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, the fuck am I doing? Rock on.